everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the RIP Tour podcast. I am your tour guide, Tim, and we have finally made it to the hype episode. This is probably one of our most favorite episodes to do, and I think you guys probably enjoy this one the most as well. So we're going to basically go through scare zones and houses and tell you where they rank on our hype list, because you know damn well at the end of this, it is not going to look the same after the event is over. But I can't do this by myself, so let me introduce all the rest of the tour guides. I'm just going to go this way. Ash, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm back. I'm back for my favorite episode of the year by far.
Yes. Welcome back from your hiatus.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then moving along to Liz. Good morning, Liz. How are you? Besides your technical problems this morning.
Yes, aside from technical issues, I am doing well. I am excited for this episode. I actually woke up excited to record today. I know it's crazy because it's morning, but I am excited to hear our lists and debate.
Awesome. And then finally we have Gary across the pond. Hello, sir. What's
Hello.
going on?
I'm good. I'm very hyped. Got my Blinky cup. I have a Horror Nights shirt on for people watching on YouTube, and I am so excited because I think this is my favorite episode of the year, so I cannot wait to argue for the next hour with you guys.
Agreed. Liz, before you came on, I was just telling Gary and Ash, I feel like this year all of our lists are going to be completely different, and I don't think I could even guess what everybody's number one will be. Like, I honestly don't think I know.
I think I could guess Ash's. Everybody else, I have no idea. Just the number one. I have no idea the rest of the list.
I have. Okay, so let's do this. How about do you want to take bets right now?
Ooh.
Well, just a friendly bet.
Okay.
So I'll go first. I think Ash's number one is going to be Monsters.
Same.
Gary. I think Gary is the anomaly right now. Liz, I'm kind of...
Liz's number one is Museum.
I've got Museum too for that.
I'm torn between that and Slaughter Cinema, but I'm also going to say Museum as well.
All right, here, let me write this down so we have our...
Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, yeah. So this way we have our guesses. We'll have a friendly little Mai Tai bet or something here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got Ash's as Universal Monsters. Mm-hmm. I got Liz as the Museum. Gary.
Everyone went Museum for me.
Yeah. Yes, Gary and Ash did too. Okay, so Gary.
Have fun.
I think I'm going...
Go ahead,
I think I'm going Slaughter. Slaughter for Gary.
I was thinking that, but I'm going to go Goblin's Feast for Gary.
See, that's what I'm torn between. I'm torn between Slaughter and Goblins. You know what? I'm going to go Goblins too for Gary.
All right.
I'm going to put that down.
All right, and then Tim?
Yeah, what do y'all think my number one is?
I'm going Slaughter Cinema too.
Man.
Slaughter Cinema.
Yeah, Slaughter.
Okay. All right, so...
Bets are set.
Locked in.
Is everything... Do we have everybody's now?
I've got it. Yep,
I've
got it down.
Okay, cool. Sick. We'll come back to that later. This is just a friendly side bet for all of us. But let's get into it, because this is going to be a little bit of a longer episode as usual, because there'll be lots of fighting. And so let me bring up the correct hype list, which would be mine. I'm just kidding. But we're going to start with scare zones first, and we're going to go basically, this is how we do it. We just go from, I guess, bottom to top. So there's 5 scare zones, so we're going to go 5 to 1. So let's get it going. Liz, start us off. What is your number 5 scare zone on your hype list there?
Yeah, my number 5 is the scare zone that we just finally had officially announced this past week. We were all waiting. You know, we couldn't tell what it was going to be. It's going to be Blumhouse at my number 5, mainly just because it's an IP zone. It's characters we've seen multiple times. I think for me, it's hard to get super hyped over repeat characters and IP characters. So it's going to be number 5 for me.
That's fair. All right, Gary, what about you?
Number 5, I have Demon Queens. I found these all really hard to rank because we didn't really get much of a story. I think Demon Queens is probably one that we got the least, or how I feel, the least amount of information, or the graphic doesn't really give anything away, to be fair. I could be totally wrong, but it had to go somewhere, and the other ones, after a lot of deliberation, just had to go that little bit higher.
That's fair. And then Ash, what about you? What's your number 5 hyped scare zone?
Mine is the same as Liz, is Enter the Blumhouse. I'm not hyped whatsoever for this. The exit for the Fast and Furious maze is going to be right there where the cars are, so it's just going to dump out in an already congested zone. We had Crypt TV, the IP there, for 30, and it's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be a couple of stages with the sort of main characters on, maybe a couple of roamers in and around it. I'll probably find myself going on the side street around it to avoid it most nights, just being completely honest. So by far my least hyped is Enter the Blumhouse.
All right. For number 5 for me is also Demon Queens, and this is more of the unknown because nothing's even been put out in this zone. And I think because of the parade, this is probably the main reason. So I have a feeling that a lot of this stuff will get wheeled out every night before the event starts or whatever, or right after the parade is ended. I'm excited. You know, like I said, you know, all the scare zones could be fun. We'll see what happens. But I also have Demon Queens at 5. All right. Moving on to number 4. Let's go to Ash. What's your number 4 hyped zone? Yeah,
I had to just go back. I had to go back and check it. That's all.
Okay.
Wanted to make sure it's correct. Okay, number 4 for me is Duality of Fear. Just this sort of table of content zone. I don't know what I'm expecting. Is it going to be right there where the sort of truss is with the neon sign? Is it going to be more to the right where Oddfellow was last year? Again, it's been touched on. More of the unknown. I don't know what's going to happen there. We're going to have both of the, quote unquote icons there. Maybe one side is like blue to go that way, one side's red. But yeah, more of the unknown than anything, but Duality of Fear is going to be my number 4.
All right. I feel like we never argue really too much with scare zones because we're all like, you know, we don't know really too much about them, but, you know, it's all good. Gary, let's move over to you. What is your number 4 ranked hyped zone?
Mine is the same, Duality of Fear. I do think that number 4 and 5 could have interchanged. The only reason I did put this at number 4 over Demon Queens is because of the path choice. I do like there's a little bit thought being put into that, but the fact that they're sort of being pushed as this year's icons, mascots, whatever you want to call them, and we have so little information about it, it just means I can't really put it any higher because it seems to be a little bit of an afterthought if they do want it to be this year's icon / mascot.
That's fair. And then Liz, what is your number 4 ranked zone?
Well, my number 4 is also Duality of Fear. So we are all on the same page here. I think I agree with everything they said. Plus, it's going to be the entrance zone, which I assume will just be characters from the other zones thrown in there. Maybe we'll see the icons, but it's just too much unknown.
Yeah, I get that. My number 4 is not Duality of Fear. It is Blumhouse. I gave this, again, 4 and 5 could probably interchange. I gave this one an extra step because I'm actually curious to see what other characters are going to be in this zone, and hopefully we get a taste of, like, other things. You know, I don't know if there's going to be any Five Nights at Freddy's, but it'd be kind of curious to see if we do get a character or so roaming out in that land or that area. You know, just be fun. We know we're, you know, the Grabber, Megan, you know, we know about all of them, but it's more, I think I give it an extra nod up because it's the curiosity of like, okay, what other characters are you going to have in here? So that's why I have it at 4. All right, moving right along, guys. So number 3 hyped zone. We'll start with Gary this time. Gary, what is your number 3?
At number 3, I have Torture Fair. Again, these were really hard to rank. I am excited for this zone, but I don't know. I think the New York zone sometimes falls down a little bit. I didn't think the stage looked great on what we saw earlier on when I did make this list. The picture you sent, Liz, the other night did look a little bit better, but I sometimes feel this zone gets lost because they don't put enough props out in this zone for the size of it. And it was the same as like Zombieland and stuff like that. The actors blended into the crowds, especially with the tribute store being there. So I feel like it's quite hard to soak in that zone. So whether we do get some more props wheeled out, because in the description it did say that we were getting some homemade torture devices. So if we do and get some little side shows similar to what we had at like 25, the little mini stage show things, I would be all down for that. So middle of the road for me.
All right. Liz, what do you have at number 3?
Number 3 for me is going to be Swamp of the Undead. So we've had the most props out for this one, so I think I have kind of an idea of what's going to be in the zone. And I do love that little turtle that they added, so, protect him at all costs. But I think this one is similar enough to things we've seen in the past, and zombies are never my favorite thing, so it's right middle of the pack for me.
All right. And then Ash, what is at your number 3?
Yeah, I am same as Gary. I have Torture Fair at number 3. Love the theming, the whole sort of theming of it. But like Gary said, New York's a really big place to fill, and I think Gary does touch on it a lot, where the best example of a New York zone will be the Purge, where everything's sort of covered in there. Even the side streets have got something going on. Yeah, I wanted to... There's one at 2 that I've ranked. We'll get to it. And I was going to rank that one at 3 just because there's no real props in it. And I didn't want to get stuck in, well, that one's got props out. I can see more of it, so it's going to get ranked higher. I wanted to try and take that out of it. But theming's going to be good. I'm looking forward to see what's going to go on in there. That freaking scream that goes on every year is probably going to be in this zone too. So that's why it ranked a little bit lower for me.
Oh my God, please get rid of that scream already. It's so bad.
The zone is called Torture for a reason.
I mean, yeah, this is true. We probably will get that scream. Okay, so my number 3 is Duality of Fear. The only reason this is probably a little bit higher than the other 2 is I am also curious about the path choice. I think that's a cool idea, but I just need to see it executed. But we'll see what happens. But I'm curious about whatever mascots, icons, whatever they're being called as well. So we'll check that out. So that is my number 3 is Duality of Fear. So now we're getting into the top 2. I'm actually surprised, Liz, that Swamp is at 3. I thought maybe it might have been a little bit higher.
I am too.
But not questioning it. It's all good.
Keeping you on your toes.
I know. All right, so let's go to number 2. We'll go back to Liz. Liz, start us off. What is your number 2 zone right now?
My number 2 is going to be Demon Queens. I am intrigued by the concept. It's the one we know the least about. I think we saw a couple images of it from that UK press event, so we kind of have an idea of costumes. I assume it's going to have the classic Hollywood stages. But Hollywood's usually my favorite zone to relax, chill, have some scare zone camping. So I think this is just wishful thinking, hopeful thinking that this is going to be the zone I want to relax in.
All right. I like that. Ash, let's go to you. What's number 2 for you?
Yeah, same. Demon Queens is my number 2. The whole concept around it, we had some of the UK event, like Liz just said, like costuming and things we're going to expect in there. I do like that we kind of talked about Duality of Fear, where you pick a path, and this is one of the icons' path. It's going to be their zone. I do like that. Hollywood has been the real consistent standout in terms of zones the last maybe 3-4 years, so there's no reason to think why it's going to fall off a cliff this year, so that's why it's ranked number 2 for me.
All right. I like that. And then Gary, what about you? What's number 2 for you?
For me, number 2, it may surprise you, but it's Blumhouse. I do enjoy the Blumhouse movies, despite what a lot of people think. Last night I watched Happy Death Day again, and I enjoy it all the time. This morning I watched The Black Phone, loved it. And Megan, cool character, but the movie's really bad. But I think it's more the fact that I do spend a lot of time in the zones taking photos and shooting video and stuff like that, and I just think I always draw to IP zones, like in The Purge. I absolutely loved shooting in there, just for some of the cool action shots. So I'm excited to see what they do with it, even though the location itself isn't the greatest. I am excited to see the grabber actually come to life, because in the house he was just mainly in that kitchen in the chair, so I'm excited to see him out in the streets.
Nice. I'm actually surprised. That's kind of high. I feel like that's kind of high, but that's just me. But I like it. My number 2 is Torture Fair. So you guys brought up some great points about New York, but here's the point that I love, is that I'll actually be able to tell who the scare actors are this year in that zone because of what it is. So it should be very easily recognizable on who is actually a scare actor and who is a guest. I feel like in the last couple years, maybe not so much last year, because last year's was Sweets, right? So, I mean, that we could tell. But previous ones, I feel like there's been a couple zones where it's like I don't know who's who, and it was kind of weird. But they got plenty of room for this to have some crazy torture devices out there. Just like Gary said, Liz, those pictures, it looks better at night for me than it does during the day. So I'm like, okay, I'm very, very excited about this. And like I said, I've said this before, I just think that whole era of Renaissance, this is what they did. They actually did torture people back there. So I'm excited to see like what kind of devices they're just going to come out, and mess around with. So it'll be fun. So
Tim was that excited he skipped a whole year of Horror Nights.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was
going
going to
to
say Vamp 69 was last year.
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. Listen, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. Leave me alone.
Tim's the real HHN bear. He just hibernates.
Whatever. Y'all know what I meant. Come on now. Anyway, all right, so number one. We were at number one. All right, who wants to go first? Ash? Okay, cool. Ash,
Sure.
what is your number one hype?
Number one, it's always a zone I gravitate to just for more nostalgia than actual good zones recently, and it is our Central Park area, Swamp of the Undead. The props look really, really good, and if we talked about getting that, low-level green fog lighting that they've done before and it worked, if we can get that accompanied with decent costuming, I know it's zombies. It's funny with zombies, right? Because they're timeless. It's a classic. They work. That's why zombies always comes back around. But as scare actors, doesn't really do too much for me. But yeah, with props, costuming, maybe the story, and just I gravitate towards that zone anyway. So Swamp of the Undead, number one for me.
Excellent. Gary, what is your number one hyped zone this year?
Same as Ash. I love this area of the park, and some of the props look really cool. Again, if they do nail these effects, we are in for a treat. As for the zombies, I'm hoping they lean towards more of the retro comic book style, campy type zombies, as opposed to like gory, Walking Dead style zombies. I think that'll go with the theming a lot more. The zone would have been an instant 10 out of 10 if they had just hung some pumpkins in the trees for me. But I don't think we're going to get that back. But that like Ash, I tend to gravitate towards that area of the park because it's just so beautiful at night time, especially at Halloween with the fog.
Yeah, I get that. All right, Liz, I know what your number one is. What is it?
Yeah, I am the oddball with Torture Fair as my number one. And my reasoning is kind of what Tim said. It's something different that we have not seen before, or at least in a very long time. So I'm expecting very different costuming. I think it will actually work in New York because you will be able to tell who's a scare actor versus a guest, except for maybe the victims. The victims might be, I don't know what period they're going to be in. But I think it's just something different. And that's exciting for me because I've been going for so long. I just am excited for a different concept and curious to see how they'll fill all that space.
Like it. My number one is also Swamp of the Undead. I love this. I think this is going to be fantastic. I've definitely seen some pictures out there of the lighting a little bit, so I think we are in for a treat in this zone. Gary, what would you think if they just threw pumpkins up anyway?
I'd be down with it. I mean, you can still have a swamp in Louisiana that celebrates Halloween. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, fair. That's fair. I love it. But I like to gravitate to Central Park too. I think this is such a cool area for a scare zone. Please, ops, don't rush us through like you do every year, because everybody wants to see things. You can't just rush us through and be like, oh, keep going. So please let us be able to linger a little bit so we can get everything in there. But I love it. There's gators and turtles and owls. Oh my! I mean, like what can be better? And then I'm with Gary. I kind of like the idea of maybe this is more of a comic bookish zombie more than anything, because that could be really, really, really fun. So that is my number one ranked or hyped zone this year. Look at that, guys. We made it through the zones without even arguing.
That's the easy one, right?
Yeah. Now the arguing starts, and this is going to be fun. Oh man, I'm really God. This is.
And everyone watching on YouTube can like see the faces we make at each other when this happens. So this is going to be even better this year.
All right.
The look of shock.
I know. Oh, God, this is great. All right, let's get into it. Let's get to the houses.
Let's do it.
Going 10-1. All right. Gary, start us off. What is number 10 for houses on your hype list?
I already see like the nerves on Lizz's face now for what I'm about to say.
No, you had
Ash
a
is
deep
already
sigh.
judging me.
You had a
And
deep
Tim's just
sigh.
grabbing popcorn, ready. So at number 10, and I actually hope I am wrong about this house, it is Triplets of Terror.
Oh,
I hope this is not a Spirit of a Coven thing. I hope it does flip on the list. Because I did have, I looked at my previous like hype list. I had Spirits at number 2 on the hype list.
oh, that's right.
And it went to number 10 on the rankings. So I'm hoping it's the opposite. But just going off the art and the storyline, it's just not really doing it that much for me. So I do hope I'm wrong. We have heard a few whispers that it is a visually stunning house, but it has to go somewhere, I suppose.
I don't think that's a bad pick. Liz, are you more of a reaction that you thought maybe for Gary, or I don't know? What do you think?
I think that's a choice. He has made a choice.
I can understand it though. I can understand the logic behind it. If I'm being honest,
I can too.
And I will
Fair.
say
That's fair.
for there not being a crazy amount of IPs or huge IPs that we've had the past couple of years, this list was really hard to rank because the originals are so strong.
Yeah.
So my list changed about 4 times in the last couple of days. And I could probably sit tonight and redo the list again in a different order. So it is really hard to do this year.
I will agree with this. This was very hard to do. I feel like it's very hard to do every year, except for there's always like that 1 or 2 houses we're all just like, yeah, whatever. But honestly, this year was it was really tough. So Liz, I'm just going to throw it to you now for your number 10. Let's see what you got.
Sure. I don't think people will be very surprised by the low houses on my list. Knowing me, my number 10 is going to be A Quiet Place. It's an IP. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. I appreciate the information that we got during the press release talking about using sign language in the house and the effects that are going to be there. I hope it's going to blow me away. But something had to be number 10. And I'm going to dock it because rumor has it there's corn. And so for that, it gets number 10.
Wow. Gary, you kind of look like you had a face there when Liz announced A Quiet Place at 10. So my reaction is that you don't agree with that.
After she said she watched the movies, she said she enjoyed them. I didn't think, I thought there was other houses she might have had at 10 as opposed to A Quiet Place. I can't see anything more than that without spoiling where it is on my list. But like we can discuss that at the end.
Okay. All right, Ash, let's move on to you. What is that number 10 for you?
I also have A Quiet Place at number 10.
Excellent
Gary touched on it
taste.
a second ago. Yeah, I mean, Gary touched on it. I mean, on paper, the originals look really strong or sound really strong. So I do tend to, like the originals more. But anyway, for A Quiet Place, I would have preferred this just because of the style of it. I would have preferred it probably in like a sprung tent because it sort of plays on the sensors, and have those close quarters would probably lend itself better to that. I have listened to the Discover Universal podcast episode. Disclaimer, it does have some spoilers in it. Does it spoil the whole maze? No, but it has some spoilers in it. I like that they're going to use sign language and maybe trying to trip the guests up. Like you've got to be quiet and they're trying to trip you up to make noise, which I think is a cool concept. So there are things in there I know is going to be in there, but I'm not going to say it out loud. But just the unknown, like how it's going to sort of played. So that's why it's number 10 for me.
Fair. All right, so we have a 2-2 split. I also have Triplets of Terror at 10. I just don't know how I feel about this house. And I know it's an original, and I feel like Gary too, that I feel like even though this is my number 10, that this is going to bump up during the event. But I wasn't a fan of the artwork, and I know that's really terrible to say. Like, that's why I'm ranking it at 10. But I don't know. I just don't know how blow me away, please, Universal. That's basically what it is. And something has to go at 10, just like Liz said.
Yeah.
So, hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe this, bumps up to midway. Maybe it bumps up to number 1. You never know what's going to happen. That's why we love doing hype lists. And then at the end of the season, comparing those hype lists, what we had and where we had them ranked compared to what we have them ranked at the end of the season. It's really cool. And we've been going, I mean, you guys, Ash and Liz, you've been going forever, and Gary longer than me, but how many times have you Ash, we've talked about this endlessly. How many times have we started the event opening weekend, we run a house and we're like, oh, what was that? But then by the end of the event, they make some adjustments and changes during it that you're like, okay, this got really a lot better. Maybe they're listening to people and, making sure and, changing things and making it better. So that's the great thing about HHN. In any of these houses and where you have them ranked, what you do opening weekend and then compared to, during the event at the end is definitely going to change.
Oh, yeah.
So the house could be exactly the same. It all depends on your run sometimes too,
That too. Yeah. That's 100%, because how many times, and we've all, and everybody listening and watching, you've all had a run where you love this house, but you walk through and maybe you miss every scare, or maybe there was not a lot of scare actors in at that time. Things happen. People call out sick. Maybe they can't get it covered. So you just you can't just be like, okay, this is going to be my favorite house after opening weekend. You got to give it love. You got to give it time. And let it just mature over the event, right?
Yeah, if you have the luxury of being there all season, you get to see it change. So
very
it's
true,
a cool
very
thing.
true. All right, not too much arguing on that one. Not too bad.
I look forward to saying I told you so. That's fine.
Oh, okay. All right, number 9. So let's go the opposite way. So Ash, what do you have at number 9?
Okay, for me, I hope this is going to be the biggest climber, but I do have Major Sweets Candy Factory at number 9. I wasn't a massive fan of the Scare Zone, if I'm being honest. And then I did listen to the podcast. I thought it was okay. The story was pretty weak. It didn't really add nothing. A bit strange. I've just got a feeling that the Fast and Furious queue, the Blumhouse one, phone part was decent, but holistically it wasn't fantastic. Chucky wasn't good. So is it going to be that sort of curse of the Men in Black tent where we get some duds, and then we finally had House of a Thousand Corpses? So is it going to be like that? So hopefully, but like I said, I hope this is the biggest climber because it sounds good. The location for it's perfect too. So I'm hoping for some good scares, good scenic, and I hope this is going to be a climber. But Major Sweets, I'm sorry.
I'm kind of surprised. That's I don't know. I thought maybe you'd have that a little bit higher. It's all good though. All right, Liz, what do you have at number 9?
Number 9 for me is going to be Ghostbusters Afterlife. No, it's not Afterlife. It's Frozen Empire. I enjoyed the movie. I think there's plenty of scenic in it to have a really cool facade and have some interesting scenes in it. But it is a repeat IP that we've had before, different subject matter, but it's still the same vein. And I want it to be great. I want to enjoy it, but I have a feeling it's going to be way more fun and less scary. So it's got to be low on my list.
That's fair. All right, Gary, what about you? What do you have at number 9?
I'm with Ash. I've got Major Sweets. I didn't really enjoy the zone as a whole. I thought the floats were really cool, but I just didn't feel the zone had even though it did, I just feel like the storyline in the zone didn't come together. It just seemed to be loads of characters running around, but there was no sort of pattern to it or anything that I could figure out. And again, the podcast story, like Ash said, the story didn't really add anything. It just basically dragged out what the press description said about kids going on a tour of the factory and stuff like that. And I wasn't a fan of the way that it was acted out in the story. But I'm hoping it does climb up. They have all the things there to make it decent. They've got Fast and Furious closed as well, so they could do something with the queue line in terms of making it look like a factory facade inside of there as well. And you have that outdoor portion, which is a good transition as well. So unfortunately, just based off my enjoyment of the zone, had to go at number 9.
All right. Man, me and Liz have that higher, so.
Yep.
All right, my number 9 is A Quiet Place.
See?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't arguing about for your guys' number 10. I'm with you on it. The only reason I probably bumped this up to 9 instead of 10 is I'm actually really curious. I did not listen to any of the podcast because I don't want to know, because I know there is spoilers in it. Brady had told me that. He's like, if you don't want to, know about things, they do, say some things in there. And I was like, okay. I don't want to know. So I'm very curious on like what they do with this house, and I'm hoping this one bumps up as well. And that this is a pleasant surprise, and we get some different kinds of scares and whatnot. So yeah, A Quiet Place at number 9 for me.
Fair.
So, all right, we are moving to number 8. So Liz, let's have you start. What do you have at number 8?
Well, to finish off the properties that I consider an actual IP, we have number 8 is Insidious. Again, I have to stay on brand. I am an originals person over and over and over. And while I do really enjoy these movies and I loved the 2015 house, it's an IP, so it has to go at the bottom of my list. I think this will be great in a soundstage. I'm excited to see what they can do with that level, because all the other Insidious versions we've had before have been tense. So I think this will be terrifying. There's so many great scenes and characters in these movies to pull from. And despite being number 8, I am really excited for it. It just, like you said, it's a very solid year, I think. Just on paper, it seems like it's going to be a really good year for originals. So had to be number 8.
All right. No arguments here. Gary, what do you have at number 8?
My number 8 is A Quiet Place. I did try and get this higher because I did enjoy the movies after I did give them a second try. I am intrigued about this house, but not intrigued enough to get it in the top half because of the other houses that just pipped it to the post. But again, they've got the potential to nail this house if they do some certain things right. Again, because it's an IP and the movie is such a unique movie, it's going to be very hard for them to pull this off perfectly. And I think it's sort of like the Stranger Things, Volume 4 type thing that didn't get it right. So it's one of those risks that they take of not getting the house right. So unfortunately, it had to go at the bottom half at number 8.
All right. All right. Bump it over to Ash. Ash, what do you have at number 8?
Yeah, my number 8 is Ghostbusters. Number 8. I feel like on the flip side, though, I feel like we need one of these sort of IP house every year where it's not going to be terrifying, but it's going to be good fun and pulling from a property we all love. Frozen Empire itself, the movie was okay. Wasn't nothing to write home about. I felt like the ending was pretty rushed. But I'm looking forward to going through, New York, seeing all the places we saw in the movie and characters and maybe iconic lines just from the franchise itself. But yeah, it's got to be low because I'm way excited for more. But I feel like we need one of these sort of IP funny / spooky houses, in my opinion.
I like that. I'm in agreement. So with that being said, I also have Ghostbusters Frozen Empire at number 8 as well. And all I'm going to say is I'm in agreement with Ash's what he said. I feel like this is definitely one of those houses to have. The movie. It's just going to be walking through the movie and enjoying it. The sets are going to be fantastic. Universal, if you're listening, this gets bumped up higher if something is in that house that wasn't in the first time. A certain vehicle. Ecto 1. If that is not in this house, it's going to 10, just so you know.
I was like, I thought you were about to say, I'm going to riot. If this is not in the house, I'm going to riot.
God damn it, let's go. No, I think this will be fun because we do get, I feel like we'll see both the new and, of course, the classic characters because everybody's basically in this movie. Even Bill Murray returned for this one as well. So, just like Ash said, it's going to be a fun house to walk through. Not there's something's got to be at 8 as well. Again, and I feel like I'm more original this year, but there's something that might be a little bit higher that's been mentioned already. So, but we'll get to that. And I think I saw Gary's face kind of light up when Lizz actually announced what her number 8 was. All right, so let's move along. All right, let's go 7. I'm going to go first this time and stir it up because I know this is where it's going to start getting crazy. So my number 7 is Monstrous, the Monsters of Latin America. I
think you've broke Ash's heart there.
I know. I just, did you hear that? It was just like, like deflated. I feel like this one where I have it is going to go up 100%. It's just that the ones that are above it, I'm more hyped for. And I think we get that every year where we talk about it's all personal, feelings on how you like things and, what reaches out to you. This doesn't really reach out to me that well, but I have a feeling I'm going to have my, mind changed once I run through that house the first time. I'm looking forward to the monsters themselves and seeing what they look like and how it's going to be. I think it could be a very scary house, honestly, but I just have others that are going to get ranked above it. That's all. So no poo-pooing on it. That's just where I have it at number 7. So I'm going to go to Ash since I just broke his heart. So Ash, what do you have at number 7?
Yeah, we'll get to Monstrous on my list later, but anyway, my number 7 completes the sort of traditional IPs. I have, 3 of my bottom 4 are going to be the IPs, but Insidious is going to be my number 7. But here's the thing with Insidious, right? I feel that this is almost like a slam dunk for me that it's going to be the best and most terrifying IP. I feel like that's a given for me that it's going to probably be the best one. Movies, I loved 1 and 2. 3, 4, and 5 are not good at all. Even with 5, when they brought the legacy cast back, if you will, to do the Red Door, those 3, 4, and 5 movies are just not good whatsoever. But I'm looking forward. Of sort of like an original, if you will, concept on a property, because they're going to go probably through the Red Door where there's going to be different scenes, different monsters, as opposed to walking through traditional sets and doing it as a linear story 1 to 5. So Insidious, number 7.
All right, you're wrong, but that's fine. Gary's face lit up when you said that, so I'm going to send it to Gary. Gary, tell him how wrong he is before you tell me your number 7 house.
I can't really say anything without. We'll just wait until we get to where it is on my list, okay. And I'll explain why it doesn't deserve to be there. But he's wrong. Everyone's entitled to be wrong once. Just Ashes more than often. My number 7 is Ghostbusters, which I think probably might shock a few of you guys. Like Liz said, it's a repeat IP. We've had it. I enjoyed Ghostbusters version 1, but did they nail the house perfectly? No. So to bring it back again, are they going to nail it a second time? And the movie, I just didn't, like Ash said, the ending was rushed. They built the whole movie up to this scary ice demon ghost thing, and then it was the last 7 to 10 minutes at the end was where they were fighting him, and they got rid of him so easy. So it was a bit of a anti-climax for me. I am looking forward to seeing some of the sets, some of the props, like Tim said. Please have the Ecto 1 in there, or somewhere in the park, whether it be backstage in a line or something like that, where you can walk past and have a look. But who's not excited to listen to the music of Ghostbusters as you're walking into the house and walking out of the house? But just the fact that the movie to me wasn't that great, and obviously we've already had Ghostbusters, that's why it's had to sit at number 7.
All right, that's fair. All right, Liz, what do you have at number 7?
Well, it's time to break Ash's heart a second time, because I also have Monstrous as my number 7. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think the monsters in this are going to be really cool. I listened to the podcast. I like the story of it. I think they're going to be scary. I've seen a couple clips of the Hollywood house, so I have an idea of what we're looking into, and I'm excited to see the sets. I just have other originals that I'm more interested in personally, but I think this one's going to be a good house. I have nothing but hope and optimism for it.
All right. Ash, are you deflated right now, my guy?
We'll get to it.
All right. That's a big yes.
Yeah, that's a yes.
All right. Gary, what's at number 6?
I'll have to check the list. I wasn't expecting it to come to me so fast. Okay, at number 6, somebody's about to lose a bet. I have. Are you ready? Oh, there's shocks on both faces there, Tim and Liz. Because you guys both said different houses for my number 1, didn't you?
We did.
My number 6 is Goblin's Feast.
Okay, not me. Ash and Tim are out of the bet.
And again, it's not that I'm not looking forward to this house. It's like Lord of the Rings, but horror. You know, we're getting goblins, orcs, all that sort of fancy village stuff. People my height, because I know Tom will be listening, he'll be making that joke anyway. So what's not to love about that? However, there is stuff that I love more on the hype list. So I think 6 is a reasonable, middle of the table type. Again, it could go up, could go down, but obviously, Tim, you owe me a Mai Tai. Just saying.
Damn it! What are you doing to me, Gary? All right. I'll go next for number 6. I don't think I'm breaking anybody's hearts with this one. So, I have Major Sweets at number 6. I'm actually hoping this goes higher. I have a big adornment for Willy Wonka, so I want the Willy Wonka vibes that have just gone terribly wrong in this house. So I'm hoping, and I know Ash mentioned earlier he wasn't a huge fan of the zone either, because I wasn't either. It was okay. Like, I liked the way it looked, but it didn't really hit for me. But I'm hoping like a house. I feel like this will be better as a house than a scare zone to me. But I have it at number 6 because, my Willy Wonka love. So I feel like
if you wanted to see Willy Wonka go wrong, he could have just came to Scotland and went to the experience.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That one was, oh man, for real.
Hoping for an Easter egg in there.
That has to be a little pop out of the unknown, doesn't there, somewhere?
I want the girl that that we saw the picture of everywhere in that house.
Oh, the Oompa Loompa. She just looks so depressed.
Yeah. He's so depressed. All right, Ash, what do you have at number 6?
This is with a heavy heart and maybe some pitchforks coming my way, but Slaughter Cinema 2.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
I'm
sorry, what did you just say?
Really?
Yeah. Okay, here's my reasoning though, right?
You have some explaining to do.
Okay. Slaughter Cinema, the first Slaughter Cinema was really good. Was it like an elite tier, amazing all time? And no, but it was a good, really, really good.
Yes.
Actually, yes.
Here's the thing, right? Can lightning strike twice? Where, because the first one is so loved, and when you speak to people, even whether they've been going since 28, whether they've been going prior to that, a lot of people's top 10 mazes of all time probably includes Slaughter Cinema, just because of how well that was done. I've just got a bad feeling about it. I've just got this little feeling in the pit of my stomach where it's going to go sort of meta, or they're going to try and elevate the sort of concept when it should just be raw B-movie horror, sort of wacky, self-referential sort of stuff. I feel like they're just going to just go a bit too clever with it. And I've just got a bad feeling about it. But like I said, for Major Sweets, I do hope it's a climber. And by the end of the event, I'm eating my words and it might fall in my top 3, but I've just got a bad feeling about it. I've just got that vibe, guys. Just that vibe about it. That's all.
Okay, so for everybody at home, I hope you're taking count on how many times Ash has been right. Speak up.
The irony of that.
I am so angry right now. Yeah, I'm just so angry.
You're changing his name to wrong.
Yeah.
So I have a voodoo doll. This is Ash.
I am actually in complete shock that you have this at number 6.
I know, but remember, Tim, though.
But I would, before you go, I will agree with you though about lightning hitting twice. So I totally get that concept. So I will give you that, but I still think you have this way too low.
Well, you know, remember
That's
when
just
Spirits
me.
of the Coven, I said to you, Tim, it's not going to be good. I had it 10. You had it. You had it higher than 1.
Yeah, I had it way up there. No, I didn't have it higher than 1. Shut up.
You had it.
But I definitely had it up there on the top of my list. Yes, I know.
Wait till the
this.
end of the season, and we're doing our rankings, and I can
know.
say I told you so to everybody. So there we go.
This will definitely not be a I told you so, and I'm pretty sure Gary and Liz will back me up on this one. So Liz, going to you to round it out for number 6. Please don't tell me Slaughter Cinema is at number 6 for you.
No, mine's going to be much less controversial.
Okay,
my
good.
number 6 is Major Sweets. So we've all got this on the lower half of our lists. I did like the Scare Zone. It was a tough year because I loved Graveyard. So for me, Major Sweets was just low because Graveyard was so amazing. I think it will translate better as a house. I have heard some interesting rumors about what's happening with that tent in the Fast and Furious queue. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to translate versus what houses we've seen there previously. But Willy Wonka factory, everything going wrong, hyped up kids on candy. I think it's successful. I want to see the costuming, how it all plays out. It's just going to be on the lower half of my list.
Wow.
You do realise that though, there's loads of hyped up kids on candy sitting in Mel's all night once they've walked through Ghostbusters.
True. Because Mel's will be open again. So there
Yeah.
you go.
Yes, it will be. Wow. Ash, man. Talk about throwing a wrench into this whole thing right now.
I had to shake it up. I had to spice it up.
Everybody
did.
listening and watching right now is definitely yelling at you. Just so you know.
100%.
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
100%.
feel, do you know what, though? I do feel a lot of people... I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. Well, it's kind of middle for me, isn't it? It's like 6, but I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. I think it's going to be... I don't know where it's ranked on your guys. We'll get to that, but I feel like it's going to be either be top 3 or 4 because of how good the first one was, or it's going to be, it's not happening again. It's going to be lower. That's my thought.
I'm still giving you a little bit because of the whole lightning striking twice. So I'm with you on that, but again, there's no way. Number 6. You're crazy.
I hope I'm wrong.
All right, let's move on to number 5 because Ash is just making me mad now. Liz, how about you start us off? What do you have at number 5?
Sure. So my number 5 is going to be Goblin's Feast. We really have no idea what to expect for these new tents. And we do know that Goblins is one of the new tents. We've seen a little facade that's getting added to it. I enjoyed the podcast, but I don't think it gave me much of what's going to be in the house. It was kind of like leading up to the events of this feast. So there's a lot of unknown as far as settings. I think it will have potential to be kind of in the same realm of a Halloween based traditional spooky house. So yeah, potential, but exactly in my middle of the road, just right there in the center.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to jump in next because I also have Goblin's Feast at number 5. All great points. I also think that this could be the comedy house of the year if they do this right. But I'm kind of excited about this, and it could go higher, it could go lower. You never know. It was really cool. Did you guys see the facade, the pictures from Bio out there yesterday? So I kind of like that. I mean, it's not like the craziest facade we've ever seen, but I kind of like it's like a little village-esque house that you're going to go through. And yeah, a lot of the unknown with these new tents. I'm very, very curious to see what it's going to be like inside. And then Gary mentioned earlier, because I think Gary, you had this like lower on your list, right? Goblins, that was like 9 or 10 or something.
Yeah, I had it number 6.
Oh, okay. I thought it was lower. But like I'm with you with like the whole Lord of the Rings, the fantasy, the goblins, the orcs, the witches, and then again you throw that traditional Halloween feel into it. So yeah, middle of the road for me right now, but also could climb. We'll see what happens. So let's go to Gary. Gary, what do you have at number 5?
Number 5, I have Monstrous. middle of the road for me. I didn't want to put it any lower because when I watched the Hollywood walkthrough, I really did enjoy it, and I loved the look of the monsters and the sets and stuff like that. And I'm quite into the sort of Latin folklore type thing. I quite enjoyed Chupacabra, so I'm looking forward to see how they translate this in Orlando, because I know we won't get exactly the same house as Hollywood. There'll obviously be some like differences in scenes and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see how Orlando does it.
All right, that's fair. Is that a Liz? Did you? No, Liz, you didn't go yet, right? For 5, or you did?
I went.
So
It's
I
Ash.
haven't gone for
Ash
Oh,
five.
Ash.
still-
Sorry, I'm going out of order each time, and I don't know who I left off with. Sorry, Ash. What's your number 5?
Yep, so my 5, which is the first house in the top 5, technically, is same as Tim's and Liz's. It is Goblin's Feast. It was holding in the top 3 for a while on the hype, because we've talked about it. You know, I love that concept. I love fantasy. And if, like you just said, Tim, if you can incorporate that with traditional Halloween, absolutely sign me up. I'm kind of the opposite for Liz, though. The podcast, really disliked it. That's why it dropped out a little bit for me. Didn't add anything. The story was not it for me either. But yeah, I've got good feelings about it, and I think it probably will hold in the top 5 even after the event. It's just going to look good, and yeah. But Goblin's Feast, right in the middle for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. We're creeping up. Now we're on to number 4, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
All right. Gary, start us off. What do you got at number 4?
Now, Liz, before you come at me,
Wow, like this is how you're starting it now, Liz? Oh, this is going to be bad.
now let me just say, I am really excited for this house. Mm-hmm. It is the museum. We haven't had a ton of information on it. You know, like we said, we do hope that we see different types of exhibit, and it's not just all, you know, one theme going through. I hope we have different themed rooms. Anything to do with museums after hours is really creepy. Obviously, Liz, you've got a lot of experience with this in real life. But I just couldn't get it higher. But it doesn't mean that I'm dissing this house. 4's still a respectable place, I'd say. You know, it's in the top half, but I am excited for this house. And again, I hope it. I've got a feeling this will be one of the scarier houses of the year, as opposed to like a fun house.
That's fair. I mean, you know, we're in the top 4 now, so I feel like whatever houses we have could probably interchange and that kind of thing. So, so Liz, I'll throw it to you then. What do you have at number 4?
Yeah, if you had it at number 9, we would have been probably fighting, but 4 is acceptable. My number 4 is going to be Triplets of Terror. So
Wow.
I know it's very low for some of you, but yes, I can hear your points from earlier. The artwork was not what I was expecting, and we don't have that much info to go off of. However, we have heard rumblings that this is a very scenic house, and I am all for the scenic houses. So I am going in with optimism that this is going to blow us away, that the story is going to really translate once we get in there and see what's happening. And I think because we know so little about it, it's high on my list. And I enjoy a slasher, and this is going to be in that vein. So I think the less information has me more excited.
All right. Acceptable. Very acceptable. Ash, what do you have at number 4? Ready, everybody? Ash is about to break our hearts again, I think.
No, same as Liz. I've got Triplets of Terror.
Okay.
Pretty much echoing everything Liz has said. We sort of got rumblings. It's going to be such a beautiful scenic house with scares, which seems to be tough to do for them these days. But the unknown about it as well is also intriguing. And yeah, I can't really add much more than that, to be honest. I'm just really looking forward to it. For the opposite thing, I had a bad feeling about Slaughter. I've just got a really good feeling about this one.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. And I'm rounding out number 4. I think I'm about to make Ash and Liz crazy. Maybe, I don't know.
Uh-oh. All right, I'm getting...
No, I mean, this is me for more personal reasons because I did enjoy the first 2 movies. So I have Insidious at number 4. I think this is going to be a very scary house. And I feel like, I mean, I can ask you guys, like, what is the last, like, really scary house that we've gotten at HHN?
Yeah.
And I think it's been some time, and I think this is going to at least feed my my hunger for that. So go ahead, Liz.
And it makes sense because you didn't get to see the 2015 house. So it totally makes sense that you would be super hyped to get to see this. So
Correct.
I will give you a complete pass for having it at number 4 because 2015 house was stellar, terrifying. I hope you get a similar experience in this one.
And that's exactly it too, because I didn't get to see this, and I'm very excited about this myself. So, all right, cool. Wow, are we getting into the top 3, everybody?
It's top 3.
Top 3 time. All right, let's start with Ash. What do you have at number 3?
Okay, we're into the good stuff now. Mine is The Museum, Deadly Exhibit. I do want to, again, echo what Gary said. I'm just hoping and praying that it is that sort of, whatever you want to call it, compilation, medley house, where each room is a different exhibit, or a different period of time. And that's coming to life. Yeah, I mean, After Hours at the museum just sounds creepy. So fingers crossed it ends up that way. And the museum's getting a lot of love, Sahara Traders has that rotting stone sort of vibes going on for the museum. So I think this is going to be good. I think this is a safe sort of top end of my list, to be honest.
All right, that's fair. Gary, what do you have at number 3?
At number 3, I have Insidious. Like Tim says, it's been a while since we've had something really scary. I did go through the 2015 house, and that is why I have it high on the list, because it was an awesome house then. Now we've got the addition of the other movies. I honestly loved some of the demons. The Man Who Can't Breathe, I think, was from the 3rd movie with the old guy in the medical mask. I thought that was really scary. I loved the guy with the key fingers. I thought he was terrifying. And I enjoyed the other movies more than Insidious 1 and 2. I enjoyed the prequels a lot more. Ash, I agree with you. The last one, was it the Red Door, wasn't amazing,
yeah.
But I do think the horror aspect of it was really good. So if they add all those demons into the house, I think it could be a really terrifying house.
All right, Liz, what's at number 3 for you?
Number 3 for me is going to be Slaughter Cinema 2.
Gary's ready to leave.
I will say that my number 2 and number 3 kept switching spots back and forth. And I expect my entire list to change. I obviously loved Slaughter Cinema 1. And I have some of the same fears that Ash has. But for me, it could only go down to number 3. I could not put it any lower than number 3. I really hope we get the full trailers outside in the queue to watch and laugh at all over again. I hope that they can live up to the feel of the first house. I think it's going to be tough to do. It's a high expectation. But even if it's just close to being as good as the original, it will end up in my top 5. So I'm hopeful.
Very acceptable, Liz, because you have it at number 3. Unacceptable for Ash to have it at, what'd you have it at, Ash? 6?
6.
I think it was 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Rough. That's rough, my guy. Do you think that has a chance to climb for you?
Yeah, and I hope it does. I hope it does. I've just, like I said, nothing.
Okay.
I've just got a hunch.
All right, that's fair. All right, my number 3. This is where I break Ash's heart. I have Universal Monsters at number 3, but let me just say that my top 3 I feel like could interchange for this event, at least for me. So I'm very excited about this Universal Monsters house. Brides was my favorite Universal house of the monsters that they've done so far. We're going back to it a little bit. Different story, some different characters. It's all like basically going to be female fronted. I just think this is going to be, we all know the sets and the scenery are going to be super fantastic because every Universal Monsters house in that aspect has been fantastic. But I'm expecting this to hopefully blow me away. I'm super, super excited about this one. So All right. Top 2, guys. We're getting down to it.
Ooh, this is going to be revealing.
I want to go to Gary. Gary, what's at number 2 for you?
At number 2, I have Universal Monsters. Every single year has been a home run for Monsters. As Ash likes to remind me, I didn't get to go to Horror Nights 30. So I missed out on what potentially, to me, could have been the greatest Universal Monsters house of all time. And, you know, Ash, speaking of Ash, did say that the vibe of this house reminded him of Bride. So I'm really excited to have my chance to see her fully in the house, and the storyline sounds amazing, and a female take on monsters and stuff like that just sounds really, really cool to me. So very excited.
Yes, sir. Love it. Love it. Okay, Liz, what do we have at number 2?
My number 2 is also Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines. I echo a lot of what Gary just said. I think for me, Bride Lives was a fantastic house that could have been even more amazing in a different year without the plexiglass. So I'm excited to see this fully imagined and really get some scares. It also, from listening to the podcast, seems like it's a little bit of a sequel to both Legend Collides and Bride Lives. So I love seeing how this story is going to translate. I love getting new characters in with Saskia Helsing and She-Wolf. And I hope that it's snowy, like the rumors have been saying, because I love a winter house.
Yes, I love it. Do you think we get a female creature? Is that possible?
Not with this storyline.
I just want the creature already, damn it. Sorry.
No swamps in Romania.
God damn, I know. All right, Ash, what do you have at number 2, sir?
Alrighty, number 2 for me is, you guys all had this way, way low. So number 2 for me is Monstros, the monsters of Latin America. Like, this is the easiest, like, not a gamble. Putting this in my top 3. You know, the house at Hollywood is just so loved in terms of both scenic and scares. Absolutely beautiful. Now they're bringing it to this coast where traditionally they'll normally take it up a notch. The monsters sound terrifying. I have watched the Hollywood walkthrough multiple times. You know, they're definitely very scary. Facade was good. So for me, having this is going to be good, no question. Putting this in my top 3, well, it fell at number 2. It's just not a gamble whatsoever, and it's gonna stay there. I just know it is. It's gonna be a stunning house.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. My number 2 is where I break everybody's heart, and you all owe me a Mai Tai. I have Slaughter Cinema 2 at number 2.
Man, I thought I had a perfect card here so far.
I went back and forth between my 1 and 2 for a very long time, you know, since we had these houses announced. But I feel like my number 1, I'm more hyped for. So I'm so excited to see, like, what other B movies we're getting in this house. I'm excited for the queue. I want to watch the videos that they're going to make, you know, for these trailers of these movies that are inside the house. Hopefully we get some of the older ones. I love the first version. And maybe number 2 also goes back to the lightning strikes twice as well. Even though Ash had it super low, I have it higher because I think it just deserves it. You know, I think this is going to be a home run as well. So there's my number 2. That's it, kids. We're done. Everybody guess number 1?
Everyone? Yep.
That's it. We're done. No, I'm just kidding. Number 1. Sure, I'll go first. We'll leave to imagination for everybody. I have the museum at number 1.
Yay.
I'm so, like, when this got announced, I was so super excited about this. I agree with what Gary said. I hope, like, every room is going to be like some kind of different exhibit. You know what Ash said, maybe it's a different time frame, you know, different this, different that. But I just keep thinking, you know, Night at the Museum is going super wrong, and it has just turned into this crazy horror movie. And I feel like this could be a pretty scary house too. Also, if they do this right, this is the one I am most hyped for, is the museum. So I'm gonna pass it to Liz.
Why?
You know, just a guess at maybe what your number 1 is too.
Yes, you guys all got it right. My number one is, of course, museum. If this is somehow news to you, I used to work in museums. I was a museum curator in an earlier time of my life. And so I love museums. I know how creepy they can be. And I think this has so much potential. We still don't know that much about it either. So again, it kind of goes into my triplets of terror thing where the unknown is exciting. I can't wait to see what subject matter, what exhibits, what the monsters are, what's happening in this house. And I just love museums so much. So I can't wait.
All right, so I have a question, Liz.
Mm-hmm.
So, being a curator and being in a museum for however long you were there, museums have like I won't say basements, but like storage rooms and stuff like that. I feel like we need to get that at some point in the house too, because I feel like that's probably even creepier than the actual exhibits itself, because God only knows what's lurking around and in down or wherever it could be. So the museums you worked at, I'm assuming, had those kind of like storage rooms or basements or whatever.
Absolutely. Museums, you have like a small percentage of what's actually on exhibit, and then like 98% is stuck in a basement, and they are creepy. And that's usually where I worked. So I hope there is a collections area, because there'll just be rows and rows of boxes or artifacts, and they make for a perfect alleyway to have some scare actors on either side scaring you. So I hope that whoever designed this house has been behind the scenes at a museum to kind of know that and pull from that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay. All right. Gary, I'm leaving you for last. You're going to close it out for us. So, Ash, what is your number one? I already know what it is. And you owe us all a Mai Tai.
Sure do.
Yes, the worst kept secret. Universal Monsters, Eternal Bloodlines. Easy number one. Like, come on, females unite. This is going to be awesome. You may not know this about me, but Bride of Frankenstein Lives, one of my favorite mazes of all time, not just from that Horror Nights 30. I absolutely adored it, and that was female centric. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. It's going to be beautiful. There's going to be scares. I love the fact it's in a tent, and they didn't sort of. I know Brad was up front, but I'm so glad they've kept this one at the back there. I know it's not going to be in the parade building as usual, but love this. The podcast was fantastic. There's no house spoilers, so the podcast was fantastic if you've not checked that out yet. And I could go on all day, but I'm not going to. But yeah, if we get that winter's vibe, winter's theme that's been teased, and we have that like Van Helsing crypt or a tomb to walk into, who knows? But yeah, I just cannot wait. I cannot wait for this one. But yeah, that's my number one.
Nice. No surprise, honestly, at all.
Not at all.
Nope. All right, Gary, bring it home. What is your number one hyped house this year?
Slaughter Cinema.
Yay! 2. I got it right.
I have full faith in Universal will knock this out of the park. They do. If you take Universal and Disney as a company, Universal listen to their fans a lot more, and especially all the detail and the lore that they go into with Halloween Horror Nights. I think they tend to do originals justice and keep the storyline going, so I really hope that they knock this one out of the park. Again, I have all faith that they do. I just love the cheesy, 80s B-roll horror movies, and I can't wait to have some of the more cheesy names, like what we had last time, and I just cannot wait. It was a fun house. I think that's the house that I ran the most out of every year of Horror Nights. I think I ran that house over 20 times in that season. So I just cannot wait for it.
Outstanding. And there it is, guys. There's our hype lists for HHN33. I'm very excited. I know these guys are excited. Any other thoughts, anything we missed along the way that you guys want to add or anything? The houses, scare zones, anything like that?
There's one little thing that keeps playing on my mind with the museum.
Yeah.
And I could just be totally reaching here, but I would love to see a lot of Easter eggs too.
Oh, yeah.
HHN icons, like imagine like just a box with Jack written on, or Fia's lantern, because they did that commercial where they had Fia's lantern in the Universal prop storage. I hope we get to see a lot of stuff like that. I think that would be a really cool little touch for the
Yeah,
fans.
that collections area I was just talking about, if that was just filled with Horror Nights items, would be so
that'd
cool.
be awesome. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Ash, Liz, anything else to add?
I've got just one side note. I actually did have Nightmare Fuel Nocturnal Circus ranked first and last on my show hype list.
Oh,
There you go.
Wow.
me too, actually.
What a coincidence.
That's where I had it as well.
Interesting.
So you all on me
I will
tonight,
mention nothing about the houses and stuff, but it looks like the board was put out yesterday for the tribute store to purchase like your picture on, which to me looks like grocery store items. We had like a can of beans, a box of coffee,
Gasoline.
a box of cereal, yeah, gasoline, like what, just weird stuff. So I guess they're starting that. So, so if you want to get your picture in the tribute store, you can do that. Yes, Liz, go ahead.
Also, to add to my hype list, Dead Coconut Club. Whatever that's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Top of my hype list, actually.
Yeah,
And they've started working on it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything about Dead Coconut yet, sorry. And then we also haven't heard anything about if they're going to do, what they've done at Cabana Bay.
Right.
That little thing that they do over there to one of the IPs. If you guys had to take a guess, if they do it, we don't even know if they're going to do it this year. But out of the IPs, what do you think they would use, to put something up there?
Chucky.
No, Chucky had his time last. Yeah, Chucky had his time. No,
It's got to be
It's going to be Insidious. You open the red door and it's going to be Chucky.
Oh,
the other IPs are way too niche for Cabana Bay.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters
Yeah.
seems to make the most sense. Oh man, now I'm just thinking, if they were to do Ghostbusters, do they put the Ecto one in there and not the house?
No, they're not getting that in Cabana Bay.
Oh my.
Do you know what as well?
so-
They could do Beetlejuice too with a movie coming out. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if it was like, a Beetlejuice kind of thing, but because that comes out September 15th or something.
That could be. I mean, we might see some kind of incarnation of Beetlejuice at the event this year.
Yeah.
Rumor.
Perhaps.
I won't say anything more, but there's rumors of possible themed something for Beetlejuice. But that would be cool. I'd be down with that if there was an actual Beetlejuice one. So, yeah.
Or maybe we just get the themed bars, because they seem to be pushing all the themed bars at the resorts more than normal. Normally
true.
they're not really that themed. It's normally only Cabana Bay that has the huge theme, but the concept art of the Aventura one was a lot more than what we normally get. So maybe the budgets just went on theming the 5 bars.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, okay. So last run, Gary. Anything else before we get out of here?
We do.
Yeah, we got some voicemails.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. All right. So,
Yeah,
so Gary, I'll leave this to you.
So if you're a new listener, a couple of years ago we did used to have like a built-in voicemail function, but for some reason the company we use to record and stuff took that away. But now we've managed to find a third-party one which works pretty well. So I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 voicemails to go through. So the first one is from Ashley.
Hey guys, my name is Ashley. I am most excited for the museum house. I can't remember the full name right now. Like Liz has talked about before when this house was announced, I think there's so much they could do with this that's really creepy, and could be like a really beautiful house, but also really scary. And I think there's just so much that we don't know about it. So I feel like there's so many possibilities among the other original houses too. I am also excited, but kind of nervous about how they'll do the Ghostbusters house. I think there's a lot that they could do. I did rewatch the movie recently, and especially the beginning part with the Manhattan, I think it's Adventurers Club, something like that. I could really see us going through that scene in the house, and hopefully they do that. And obviously it should be a very cold house, which would be nice. And yeah, I'm most excited for those two, I believe. But looking forward to your hype episode. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good pick on her.
So one Ghostbusters has to be freezing.
Yeah. Oh, better be.
Good pick on her top house, right, Liz?
Yeah, great choice.
Yes,
I love it.
Very great choice. I also do. I like that opening scene in Ghostbusters. So I actually hope we get that too, because that is a very cool scene. So.
Okay, next up we have Emily.
Hey guys, this is Emily. I am a huge fan of the show and I love listening to you guys. I do have to give a quick shout out to my personal favorite, Liz. You are such a history buff and I love to hear you correct the guys on their HHN facts. Now I do have to say that I am most hyped for the Slaughter Cinema House to come back. I think it'll be super fun and I can't wait to see what they do with it. But anyways, I love you guys so much and I will see you in the fog. Bye.
Nice.
I absolutely love the bye at the end.
How much did you pay her, Liz? How much did you pay her?
Oh,
I feel very attacked in that one.
I love
She
that
redeemed
one.
herself with the Slaughter Cinema, so I'll let her off
there
with
you go.
that one.
All right,
I think we need to listen to that one again.
Liz is like, keep playing that one. We don't need anything else.
We'll just have that one on loop. That's Liz's new ringtone.
But yes, awesome to give us the bye.
Yes, love it.
I didn't even realize that was a thing. I just thought you were saying bye, but
Bye.
got to roll with it now. But anyway, next up we have a voicemail from Emma.
Hey tour guides, this is Emma Toddy, and this will be my very first year attending HHN. With the assumption that Slaughter Cinema 2 is at the top or near the top of all your hype lists, I'd like to pick your brains on the beloved Blumhouse scare zone that I just know we are all looking forward to. So if each of you had to pick a Blumhouse character to be featured in the scare zone, who or what would you choose? I appreciate you guys and hope to see you in the fog super soon.
Well, congratulations for this being your first HHN.
Yeah.
I hope you have an amazing time. I believe you will. That's very, very, very exciting. Okay, so she asked about what you would like or favorite character in the Blumhouse. So I'm gonna jump in. I want to see Bagul.
Yeah.
I want Bagul to resurrect himself out there. So hopefully we get to see him. That's my personal choice that I'm looking for. And I would, like I said earlier, I'd also would really like to see if we get a character from Five Nights at Freddy. I think that'd be cool. But Bagul is the one. Gary, what do you think? Who do you want to see out there?
I would have said Bagul, but since you said that, I'm going to change it to what we are getting, the Grabber.
Yeah.
I just think he has such a dominant presence. The mask, I hope every night we get to see a different variation of the mask.
Ooh.
I think that'd be really cool. Just stand there with the balloons. I think it's going to be awesome.
The van's got to be in there, right?
It's got to.
Right.
Got to be. I mean, they've got half of one line somewhere. So
exactly right. The van's got to be there. So yeah, that'd be sick. And he's got to have the balloons in his hand every night, right?
Yep.
Got to have the balloons. So, Liz, who would you like to see from Blumhouse?
Yeah, I'm going for the Grabber. I think that's such a good photo opportunity too that everyone wants. And just him with the balloons, so creepy. I think just seeing that from afar as you're walking into the zone, that's what I want to see.
Nice.
and he doesn't even have to move. He just has to stand there and like tilt his head.
Exactly.
And that's just
exactly
Creepy.
creepy.
Yeah. Ash, what about you? Who would you like to see from Blumhouse in that zone?
Yeah, I'm a bit selfish because the actual movie is set on my birthday, which is Happy Death Day. It's set on the 18th of September. So I would like the school mascot, Babyface Killer. And then could we have like, hey, it's my birthday song going on, and he pops out maybe. But yeah, for selfish reasons, I'm choosing the school mascot from Happy Death Day.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, Gary, keep going.
Next up, we have Javier.
Hey, RIP to our crew. It's Javier. I'll start with the scare zones and then I'll do the houses. It's pretty cool that we're like 20 days away from HHN. So for the scare zones, I have Blumhouse at number 5, Duality of Fear, number 4, Demon Queens at 3, Torture Fair, number 2, and Swamp of the Undead at number 1. Based on all the constructions in the park, that scare zone's looking awesome. I hope it's good because Central Park sometimes doesn't have good scare zones. Last year, Jungle of Doom was good. The year before Scarecrow, it was good, but like Tim said, it did have problems operation-wise. But man, that scare zone's looking really good. And with that new boat and alligator they just put up a couple days ago, it looks fantastic. For the houses, number 10, I have Goblin's Feast. Number 9, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. 8, Triplets of Terror. 7, A Quiet Place. 6, Major Suites. 5, Slaughter Cinema. 4 Monsters of Latin America, 3 Universal Monsters, 2 Insidious the Further, and number 1 the Museum Deadly Exhibits. With the museum, I hope this has to do with HHN lore, whether it's fear, things to do with maybe the caretaker. What if he's the one that owns this museum itself? I cannot wait to find out what it is. I'm pretty sure Liz probably has this on number 1. Can't wait to see you guys soon. I'll catch you guys in the fog.
Love it.
Ash, did you and
Excellent
Javier
choice.
get together with that Slaughter Cinema pick? Holy cow.
It's okay though, because he has museum at number 1,
Correct.
so it's
I was gonna say,
okay.
he redeems himself with Museum at 1, so yes.
They know me well.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we have Mary.
Hi, my name is Mary, and the house that I'm most excited for is A Quiet Place. I definitely enjoyed the movies, but what made me really hyped for it, with no spoilers, was listening to the Discover Universal podcast about it. I cannot wait to see how this house turns out after listening to that. Bye!
Oh, we got another bye.
Bye.
I think we may have to make a buy shirt now.
know, right?
Oh my God.
But she's right though. The podcast it does have some spoilers in, not crazy spoilers, but it did elevate it for me a little bit. So I agree.
All right.
Makes sense.
Nice.
And the last one is from me.
I am the most excited for Major Sweet's Candy Factory.
Short and sweet.
All right then.
Short and
Yes. Excellent. Okay.
Yes,
right.
May. I like it.
Get major sweets.
Yes, May, good job.
Short and sweet.
Yeah,
it all
that's
works.
it. No,
Yeah,
that's
straight
awesome.
to the
Very
point.
cool.
Yeah.
Very
Find it.
cool. Was that the last one, Gare?
It was. Yeah, I
Awesome.
just wanted to say, going forward, I'm going to put the link in all of the descriptions, and I'm sure Liz will pop it in YouTube. And we'll be posting topics about the show beforehand. But even if you just want to leave a voicemail, ask us a question. Could be any question about Horror Nights, and give us a little thing to talk about at the end of the show. We could do a nice little segment on it.
Yeah, so much fun.
Awesome. So today is August 11th, correct?
Correct.
Unmasking the Horror Tours are happening.
As we speak.
Yes.
I just want
Mute.
I personally would like to thank everybody who is not posting pictures about any of the houses and spoilers, because we appreciate that. That's all I'll say. So thank you to them. And then I mean that's it. I mean, we've babbled on long enough here. So
Yeah.
we are, what's today? So we are 19 days. Did I do that math right? 19 days out.
Just under 3 weeks, whatever
Right?
that is.
Yeah. Today is Sunday the 11th. I can't believe that, like, we're going to HHN this month, guys. Sorry,
Yeah.
Gary. You'll be there next month. But, like, this, to me, it's still crazy that it is starting in August to November. This is nuts.
Spooky
Cannot wait.
season.
Yes.
Getting longer and longer. I can't complain.
Exactly. All right. Well, you know what? Ash, since you've been MIA for a few weeks, you get to tell people where they can find us.
I'm so shocked. We are at RIP Tour Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I say they're our biggest 4. Discord. The top of Twitter, we have the link tree, which will take you to all those good sites I just mentioned, and then Spreadshirt will be on there as well if you want to, buy something on there, support us, and we can see it in the fog. So, is that everything, Tim? Did I get everything?
You got a 10 out of 10 for that, my friend.
Like riding a bike.
Excellent job,
There
sir.
you
You know, stickers have arrived, buttons have arrived, so we will be prepared with everything and all of those during the event. So we do have a regular button, and then we will have a chase button, and every night that my guess is one of us will be there most nights.
Many nights.
Yeah, in the event. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to post a code or a password, if you will. So if you see us in the park, come on up to us, talk to us, say hi, give us that password, and we'll give you the chase button, because it's very limited this year on the chase buttons. I tried to make it less than I did last year. I think I did more last year for the chase. So we'll make that more special this year, if you will. Buttons came out great. Stickers came out great. I'm very excited. So yeah, come talk to us. Say hi. We love talking to you guys. We totally appreciate everything, that you guys, say, and come talk to us, and, on Twitter, Instagram, messages, voicemails, you guys leaving whatever it is. We truly are grateful and thankful that you guys listen and watch us and appreciate everything. We do this because we love it. It's our passion. We love Halloween. We love Horror Nights. You guys do too. So we love that we all share that same passion for it. So thank you to everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Well said.
Thank you. And in that ending, we are going to get out of here. We do have a couple episodes lined up for the rest of the month before HHN starts. And then once HHN starts, we do scale it back a little bit on recording just because we are very busy doing the event, other events, going on. But we will have episodes, I promise, during the event. I think we'll do probably an opening weekend, reaction, and we'll try to do it as spoiler-free as possible. We'll have our final rankings list at the end. We'll probably do one on all the food and drink because I think what we'll do is we'll all get together and basically try stuff. And when Gary's in town, I would love to go live this year at some point, like all four of us. If when Gary's here, hopefully figure that out. If we can just go live on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
Just to say hey, even just for a little bit, maybe we sit in a stay and scream and just kind of hang out and talk and, say hi to everybody. It'd just be fun. So, but with that said, we're getting out of here. We're going to see you in the fog in less than 3 weeks, like Liz said. And, I'm more excited now. I'm hyped up now. We do this episode and it gets me excited.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to get into these houses. So, so until the next episode, we'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.